Get over here!
So I know we said we were going to open up in Castletown, but we just remembered this one.
Yeah.
I think this should be the last one.
Wow, that melody is so cool, Robert. Singing in the rain.
Oh, shoot!
What a feeling, Robert.
Oh shoot! I didn't realize they had a different one for this one.
Please take this as a token of our froggish gratitude, Robert. Alright, see ya, Robert.
Beautiful, baby.
Yeah, because the other 5 songs are what makes them big. Wait, go to them again?
Oh?
And...
Screwed up a little bit there.
Sun Song and Song of Time. Each time, once all 5 frogs have grown, and you also play the Song of Storms to get the other heart piece, you can play a game of Simon Says. You'll have to...
Oh!
Yeah, try and play for them again. Look at us! We're all huge frogs! We are the world-famous fabulous 5 froggish tenors, Robert!
Fabulous 5 froggish... Why tenors?
It should be falsettos. The fabulous 5
Oh, that would
froggish
have been
falsettos.
so good!
Yeah.
Yeah. Missed opportunity, Nintendo.
Make us jump so we can eat the bugs flying above us, Robert. Okay? Then ready, set, Robert,
Oh,
go!
God, hang on a sec. Let me think about this. So the one at the bottom is A, and then down, right, up, left.
I guess.
Okay, this is gonna be a little bit tough. Ooh, yeah. This is gonna be a little bit hard. I gotta, like, figure out what the deal is here.
So that should be right.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Are you sure you're going straight right?
Yeah. It's not right.
Okay, try something else.
Let's try
then.
up. Nope. Is it down?
That wouldn't make sense.
Huh. Oh, I gotta be quick!
Oh, so you just gotta do it quickly.
How fast do you want me to do this? Oh my god. How fast do you want me to be? 2 speeds, fast, and way too fast!
If you want,
super fast! Okay.
If it makes you feel better, it's the same pattern.
It is
every
the same
time.
pattern every time, so at the very least there's that.
I also have the pattern written down here on my guide, so if you want, I can just show you the button sequence and you can try and put it in.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so it's this.
Oh, okay, here we go.
A, left, right, down, A, down, right, left, A.
Oh, okay, I see. I think I might just be able to do it better if I just watch, because it's like looking at it on a screen is like
looking at the text isn't helping. Maybe if it was actually pictures of the buttons.
Yeah, that's really fast. At least it's a pretty easy, like, just...
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta do A after that.
They also start the next one you have to hit does, like, start to get brighter.
The funny thing is, like, it doesn't use up at all. That frog's missing out.
Yeah. Oh, that's Brian. We don't let him sing.
Doom, doom, doom.
It's like Britta in Community. That's a Community reference for.
I was gonna say, like, you watch Community?
Yeah.
That show is funny.
There's one where they are in the Glee Club Christmas concert, and like Britta can't sing, so they just kind of like have her stand.
I see. Okay, no, I'm sorry, I'm listening.
That's okay.
Gosh darn Darn it, I thought that was the last one.
Yeah.
Mother effer. I get it, though. I get it.
The frogs will also be back, guys, in Majora's Mask. Don't you worry. Guys, I'd love to get Oscar a good N64 controller that's compatible with the Switch so that this part would be easier. But they're like $70. And that's like minimum price.
Yeah, got it.
Young boy, you did great! Perfect! We are stuffed!
Notice how the one that I didn't push is just standing there is like, I didn't get it.
Would you take this token of our gratitude?
Beautiful.
Do you want to tell him?
I don't think he wanted to make trouble.
Come on, Link, that one frog didn't get any!
I know, but... I'll let them hash it out.
That's funny, because that's the one on C Up, and usually the pecking order of tenors is whoever can hit the highest note is in charge.
You would think, right? Which would... I guess that would cause a little bit of conflict if it were called the world-famous 5 fabulous froggish falsettos.
Yeah. Now, I know not all of you guys were theater/choir kids like me and Oscar, but, if you ever want to know which of the guys in the group are tenors, don't worry, they'll tell you.
Oh my god, yeah. It's weird, though, because, like... So, I was a tenor?
I was also a tenor.
Yeah, you and I both were tenors here. But, like, you were pretty much dedicated tenor, but I kind of, like... Depending on who the director was, I was shifted between tenor and baritone.
Yeah, I've been baritone and even bass in a couple shows.
You were bass?
Yeah, when we did Assassins, when I did
Showdown,
that was very...
I guess
that was very bass.
I guess it's because, like, the way I saw it, Cholgosh, like, and just the entirety of, like, the songs of Assassins weren't very bass-coded.
Yeah,
so
I guess it wasn't a very low bass.
Yeah, so I guess, like, they had to, like, choose bass somewhere. Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna pick something up while I'm here.
And all you have to do is squeeze your little finger.
Yeah, we never paid him for the bunny hood.
Nope.
Very well done. All the masks are sold out. I knew I could trust you. As a reward, I will lend you this special mask. This is the Mask of Truth. It is a mysterious mask passed down by the Sheikah. With this mask, you can see into other people's minds. It's useful, but scary. Why is it scary? You may find out as you grow older and discover the true meaning of life. The Mask of Truth.
So we got the Lens of Truth and the Mask of Truth.
From now on, you can borrow any mask you want. Just have faith. And yeah, we can now see that we can borrow these abominations. I don't know, the Goron mask is kind of cute.
Yeah.
The Zora mask has a little bit of weirdness going on with the fins, and that's just, I don't know, actually. That's actually not that bad.
Noticeably, they took the fins away from Majora's Mask. Or they, like, made them a lot more narrow. They don't stick out like Melia from Xenoblade Chronicles.
So yeah, I might as well go ahead and show this off, actually, because, like, this thing is just, like, really amusing, and this is actually the perfect place to do it, because we got 4 really, really nice statues right here. So if we put on the Mask of Truth, responding to your mask, this strange stone statue talks to you. I overheard this. They say that Malon set the original record in the in the obstacle course in Lon Lon Ranch.
Yeah, so you get just, like, a bunch of little, like, fun facts about the games.
Yeah, they're basically gossip stones.
Yeah. Well, they are gossip stones.
That's actually what they're called, right? They say that Malon of Lon Lon Ranch hopes a knight in shining armor will come and sweep her off her feet someday. I wonder what she thinks about Link now that he saved her from Ingo. They say that it is against the rules to use glasses in the treasure chest shop in Hyrule Castletown Market.
Well, guess what we're about to do.
Yup. They say that Gerudos sometimes come to Hyrule Castletown to look for boyfriends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where do you think the Breath of the Wild Gerudo got it?
Yeah.
That is how they keep it going.
They don't breed asexually.
Like, that's the thing about Gerudos, right? Like, they are scary, but it's like, they're not antisocial. They're only really just territorial of their own, like, you know...
Yeah.
Of their own, like,
I kind of wonder if it's awkward for Gerudo to come here right now, though, because...
Given everything that's been going on?
Yeah, because I got the sense that Gerudo... that Ganondorf was, like, the king of thieves. And that things were, like, not going great up until that point between Hyrule and the Gerudo.
Yeah, because
and like, that's why they needed an ambassador.
That's kind of the whole spiel that was going on. Is the reason Ganondorf was here is because he was acting as acting as ambassador.
Yeah, and in Wind Waker he says the whole thing about wanting, coveting the winds here and how it was less harsh.
Open the chest and surprise! If you get the key inside, you'll be able to advance. Right or left, try your luck. 10 rupees to play. You want to try it?
So would this be a mini dungeon? Because we get keys in here.
Yeah, kinda. Pretty crappy mini dungeon.
So yeah, this is how you get past this whole spiel. Which admittedly is like one of those things that when you first come here, it's like, oh man, like why is this like such a luck-based like minigame and whatnot? But then you realize, okay, yeah, you can do this.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny too because it's like you could probably get the hint to use the Lens of Truth here from that Gossip Stone.
Yep.
So there's a lot of really, really neat intricacies on like that tiny little guidance that is like always appreciated in situations like this.
Because I mean, if you were just brute forcing it already to get this far, it would be a 1 in 16 chance.
And this would be like a 1 in 32 chance?
Yep.
I'm remembering my maths.
Yeah.
You were always pretty good at math.
Yeah, I liked math a lot.
John has like a talent for like doing mental math pretty darn quickly.
Oh, I can't do mental math as good. I like understand math concepts, I think, well. You know who's really fast at mental math is our friend Joe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, him during...
Oh, true, actually.
Like, during D&D all the time, he would just pull out,
like,
damage calculations like it's nothing.
Like, no, actually, you're right, because I remember there was one point we had to do, like, roll, like, 5d6 for, like, a, I think it was, like, a fireball cast.
Yeah.
And he was just like, okay, let's see. 5 plus 6, that's 11, plus 3, that's 14, plus another 6, that's 20, and he was like, how are you doing this so quickly?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
I think we're ready to go Back to the Future then. Great Scott.
I recently actually rewatched the Back to the Future movies.
I love Back to the Future.
Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. I am not the biggest fan of them in the grand scheme of things. Maybe because, like, I didn't grow up with them, admittedly. Yeah. But still really good movies.
1 is an amazing movie. 2 and 3 are a lot of fun.
Yes.
They don't have the same, like, purity of concept. The same, like, raison d'etre of the first one.
I'm gonna admit that I kind of liked how the first movie ended. So, like, I guess, like, things... I guess I kind of felt like 2 and 3 were unnecessary.
Yeah.
But they still provided a good time.
Because, like... do we want to go to Death Mountain Crater, then, to collect that?
We might as well, yeah.
It was Patrick H. Willems who said this in, like, a review of different Robert Zemeckis movies. The moral of Back to the Future 1 is learning to know your parents as actual people.
Yeah.
Whereas the moral of Back to the Future 2 and 3 is the dangers of time travel.
That is true.
Like, one of them is kind of a more human conflict than the others.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's more to it than that, but...
Like, it's one of those things where it's like,
Still great movies.
There we go. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you could have, like, explored the ramifications of, You could have explored the ramifications of, you know, the whole, what's it called, time traveling thing in a movie like Back to the Future, which absolutely, but it wasn't totally necessary, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, hey, let's have more fun with this concept. These are fun characters.
Mm-hmm.
The DeLorean is cool.
Not all time travel stories need to explore the ramifications of time travel. Sometimes they can just be, like, fun.
Yeah.
Like...
The time travel rules in Back to the Future are also really messy, too.
Yeah.
It's not, like, very consistent.
It's one of those things where it's like, sometimes, like, a time travel story can just be a fun, adventurous time travel story. One of my favorite examples, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Like, Chrono Trigger obviously does have, like, the whole ramifications of time travel, kind of, but not entirely. A lot of the focus is basically just being on an adventure to stop this grand evil from basically eating time.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is just using time as a tool in order to fight an eater of time.
Yeah.
So, I've always loved Chrono Trigger for that. So yeah, there it is. Oh boy, this temple.
So, yeah, we determined we have 15 gold Skulltulas left in the game, and 5 of them are going to be in here.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, the Shadow Temple. So, first question for you. What do you think of the music of this place?
Effective. Effectively creepy.
The shadow will yield only to the one with the Eye of Truth handed down in Kakariko Village.
Now, honestly, I don't... Maybe it's because I never got this far when I was actually a kid. But, like, I've only known the Shadow Temple as, like, a teenager and older. So it's that one where the skull didn't disappear.
Clever puzzle.
So, like, to me, like, the Forest Temple is scarier.
Really?
Because it's more, like, this is, like, overbearing of, like, oh, skulls and scythes and spikes and zombies. Where I find the subtlety of the Forest Temple just a little bit more off-putting is, like, more effective horror to me.
There is a little more nuance to what goes on in the Forest Temple in regards to how it handles its atmosphere. This one, I guess this one is, like, just more in-your-face type of thing. What, like, with the glowing skull eyes and, like, the obvious, like, the death and decay type of thing.
Yeah. This place does have a lot of, like, oh man, I'm surprised this isn't a Nintendo game kind of moments, but...
True.
You know, Nintendo can go hard sometimes.
Nintendo has a talent for sneaking in subtle, like, dark, like, themings when it comes to a lot of its games. I mean, you played Pikmin.
Yeah.
So, a little reawaken of childhood trauma here.
I've pitched this a few times, and I'm sure we would get to it eventually, but sometime I want to do a top 10 of just, like, depictions of post-apocalypse. Like, top 10, like, post-apocalyptic video game worlds.
Oh, man. I mean, that's a discussion I'd be willing to have, like, a little bit right now.
Yeah, I'd be down for it. Because, like, you just mentioned Pikmin, and that got me thinking of it.
Yeah, Pikmin is a great example of that.
Pikmin seems to be, you know, Earth without humans. Just Olimar and the Pikmin are very, very small. And as far as we can tell, there aren't humans around anymore.
In a sort of, like, we were just talking about it, but, like, the one future in Chrono Trigger depicts it, basically what is a post-apocalyptic world after Lavos basically touched down.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild, I would say, is a post-apocalyptic world.
Kinda, yeah. Alright, so, hover boots. With these mysterious boots, one can hover above the ground. The downside, no traction. You can even use these to walk for short periods where there is no solid ground. Be brave and trust in the boots. I mean, yeah, like, either way, that is still not an entirely comforting prospect.
Yeah, because, like, Breath of the Wild is after the Calamity, and the Calamity was an apocalypse. It's an apocalypse if it changes the world as you know it.
I've got a couple of places I can explore here, actually.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land takes place on a post-apocalyptic world.
If I recall correctly, so does Splatoon.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of Nintendo games, actually. You see a lot of that in 13 Sentinels.
Yes.
I wouldn't say Fire Emblem Awakening, because Lucina comes from a post-apocalypse, but since we don't spend any time there...
You do see it, like, especially if you're, like, go into the DLC of it. But,
oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you actually do travel to the post-apocalyptic world.
That's right.
In the DLC of Fire Emblem Awakening.
I forgot about that.
It's pretty gruesome. It is pretty gruesome.
Horizon, Forbidden Dawn, and...
Horizon Zero
Dawn,
and
Forbidden West. Yeah.
If they were to, like, release a true definitive edition, they could probably, like, combine the two, I suppose.
This Dawn is forbidden. It may not be Dawn. The Last of Us.
Yeah. Most zombie games would
like
fit that build,
Left 4
certainly.
Dead, you could say, is like an ongoing apocalypse.
So would you say that the hover boots are basically like a repurposed Pegasus boots?
I used to get them confused a lot.
Uh-huh.
I used to call these the Pegasus boots, even though they're not the Pegasus boots.
Not close enough. I just realized that thing has like a mouth on the bottom.
Yeah.
There we go.
Kind of looks like the teacher from Real Monsters.
Oh my god!
The Grumble.
Christ, dude, you awoke... You have a talent for awakening, like, childhood memories in my head. There we go.
Yeah, it's that one brain cell we share.
Okay, so we can either go right or left. Let me look at the map. I think we should go left. Because I think this is just a single room. As a matter of fact, it is. And it has 2 Gyptos!
Oh, obviously Fallout.
Oh, yeah.
Fallout is like the post-apocalypse game. Okay, so... Going down the... I'm looking at the gold skulls.
No, you're good, you're good.
Okay, after going down the pathway with the guillotines, in the room with the falling spike traps, the room with the giant skull,
Please tell me this is the compass.
the large moving boat, and invisible walls. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, invisible walls is going to be a very common thing here. You know what would be wonderful here that this game does not have, but like would very much be appreciated? Chateau Romani.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind some of that in this situation. I knew it! Can't go in there yet though because I don't have a key. So let's go in here. Oh yeah. Yeah, you want to talk about torture devices? We were talking about last episode.
I don't even know if this is a torture device. I think it's just, like, security.
Maybe security, but I can imagine maybe some prisoners were, like, forced to run an obstacle course around these barrels with those sights coming after them.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like a very cruel and unusual punishment.
And then one guy figured out to just, like, lay down on the ground, and the guards were like, hey, stop that. Stop that. No laying down.
At that point, I imagine that the guards would just shoot them. Alright,
Yeah, I guess with, like...
Hang on a sec. Aha! Yeah, a lot of, like, the imagery in this... You do have a point. A lot of the imagery in this place is very in your face.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not scary either. I'm just saying the off-puttingness of the Forest Temple is, like, a better horror to me than... than the full grimdark of this place. But, like, this place is cool. It's an effective setting.
If you want to see the ferry to the other world, Come here.
Wow, what an invitation.
There is a thing I can climb up, so I think it basically is just telling me that if I want to see it.
You want to see it?
Sure enough, there it is.
This room reminds me of Super Mario 64.
Oh, I hear a Skulltula, though I think it's not in
it's out
reach.
there.
We actually have to be able to make it to that ship first.
Yeah, that's a very Super Mario 64 thing to do. Though.
It is.
To, like, give
Even
you a
with-
little alcove where you can see where you're gonna be later.
How much do you want to bet, like, that's, like, the, that model is, like, repurposed from Super Mario 64 with, like, Rainbow Ride, and, like, it's that giant, like, rainbow ship. What a career that ship has had, going from a great, whimsical ship in the sky to suddenly you're a ferry for the departed dead of the people who were tortured in this place.
If you go on that boat's IMDb page, which stands for I am the boat. Oh yeah, I was the Rainbow Cruiser in Super Mario 64. I was also the ferry to the Death World in Ocarina of Time. After that, my career kind of flatlined.
Oh my lord. Yeah, flatline because at the end of the ferry ride in this game, it actually sinks.
Yeah, my dream of being an actor sank.
Oh my god, down to rock bottom.
Before that, I was just treading water. Couldn't keep my career afloat.
I love this man. I really do. I have to keep reminding myself that I love this man.
But hey, if you're a fan, I got some merch for sale. Okay, so
I got it!
There should be a Skulltula in... After going down the pathway with the guillotines and reaching the lone Stalfos, spoiler, there's going to be a Stalfos.
Yep.
Take the path to the left using the Lens of Truth.
We were also just talking about guillotines, man. Come on. This place.
You ever see the musical version of the Scarlet Pimpernel?
Hijo de puta madre. Wallmasters. Go on.
The Scarlet Pimpernel, which was a novel, but there's a musical version.
Yeah, I know about the Scarlet Pimpernel.
I think the opening number is called Madame Guillotine.
Oh. Go away.
Behold us, sweet goddess of justice.
Huh. Where does that lead? Oh!
Yeah, and with the hover boots, you can make this a little easier.
Oh, actually, you might be right. Yeah, hang on a sec.
Deku Leaf or Parasail would really come in handy
No
here.
fooling! Instead, we have footwear.
Yeah, instead we have the fancy feet from Shaolin Showdown.
Dude, why wouldn't give her actually the fancy feet?
I've been hitting Shengang Wu on this Let's Play lately. I think I mentioned the two-ton tunic a little while ago.
Yes, you did. Okay, actually, we have to go down there. Ow.
If you could have one.
Oh, that's the path down there.
Cool. Yeah, that'll take us to the Skulltula. Oh, it's a bubble.
Wow, what a jerk!
Yeah.
And it takes me all the way back
Welcome
here.
back to the beginning of this room.
Ow! You know what? What am I doing? Hang on a sec.
Right through its skull.
Tola.
Yeah.
Ugh. I love how it just, like, forces them to... Ow. I keep trying to look out for them,
Too
but
hasty.
there's just, like, too many of them.
Mustn't be so hasty.
By the way, I assume you were going to ask earlier if there was like a Shenggong Wu that we want in real life, which one would it be?
Yeah, if you could take one Shenggong Wu from Master Feng's temple.
Oh boy, that's a tough one, because there's like a lot of really good ones.
I mean, Golden Tiger Claws is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, because that's just like free transport.
Yeah, teleport anywhere in the world.
I recall the one time like Raimundo used it like to go back to Brazil after he was mad at everyone.
Yeah, for a while it was at the center of the earth because they
That's right.
they sent it to the center of the earth so that the villains couldn't use it because it was too powerful.
And then Omi had to retrieve it. I think he used like the serpent's tail for that.
Yeah, he had to keep going through the middle of the earth until he grabbed it.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted it to fight Mala Mala Zhang.
Man, that show was fun.
Yeah. If you ever want to get Gage to nerd out, tell him mention Shaolin Showdown to him.
Okay, sure. That and I just somehow knocked that guy off the wall.
Yeah.
Or off the cliff. Sure, I'll take that one. Oh man, I'm trying to think, because even the very first one, the Mantis Flip Coin, is just a really fun one to have.
Mantis Flip Coin was great.
Like, that was like, for a first Shenggong Wu, that's a really good first Shenggong Wu.
Yeah. There were some that I thought were just, like, funny. Like, the Two-Ton Tunic is funny.
I get the reason why, though.
The Monkey Staff is funny.
The Monkey Staff actually would genuinely be a good one, though. Like,
yeah.
Say what you will about Jack Spicer, he got a lot of mileage out of that one.
Yeah, because he was just, like... He was such a little freak already that, like, he was fine having a monkey brain. Yeah, that was, like, one of his signature woos.
It was.
That and the changing chopsticks he would use a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think I can make a time block spawn there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But what I want is to find out how to go in there.
I think you need to kill all the keys in the room, so there's probably one left. Orb of Tornami, just
endless water.
Yeah, unlimited supply of water.
Actually, yeah, that would solve a lot of problems, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You could also, like, freeze it, but I think you'd have to be like Omi. You'd have to be like...
Yeah. Omi could squeeze more use out of the Orb of Tornami more than any others.
Yeah, he was like the Shaolin Dragon of Water.
Yeah, so he can, like, do ice. There was this one time when they were fighting the Sapphire Dragon that in order to replicate the, in order to replicate the effect of soot on the Sapphire Dragon in order to, like, get it back, like, docile, he used the Orb of Tornami to steam it.
Oh, yeah.
That was so unbelievably clever.
Yeah, the Sapphire Dragon only showed up, like, twice, but it was a big deal every time it did.
Mm-hmm. No, I like the description when they figured out what it was, and it's like, Omi was just like, yeah, Sapphire Dragon, the most dangerous Shenggong Wu, only to be used as a last resort.
Yeah, because you just, like... Unless it's covered in soot, it grows into this huge dragon that, like, fossilizes and zombifies everything.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, I think the Sapphire Dragon might have been, like, the only example of a Shenggong Wu that was self-aware.
There were a few other, like, robotic ones. Like, there was, like... I don't know if it was self-aware, but there were some that were at least, like, autonomous.
Like, autonomous that can act on their own.
Like the Sweet Baby Among Us could, like, turn into, like, a baby mech.
I forgot about the Sweet Baby Among Us.
And then there was, like, the Crouching Cougar. There was a bunch of vehicle ones. There was the Crouching Cougar, there was the Shengaroo, there was the Silver Manta Ray.
In a sort of, like, roundabout way, there was, in a sort of, like, weird way to, like, describe the whole, gosh darn it, describe the whole, like, self-awareness thing, there was the Ring of the Nine Dragons.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Ring of the Nine Dragons would make copies who were all self-aware. Kinda, sorta.
Yeah, because
the Ring of the Nine Dragons operated in a very...
It would, like, divide your own intelligence among up to 9 bodies.
Yeah.
That was another one where it was, like, huge drawback.
Oh, you want to know one, Shenggong Wu that I thought, like, was one of the cooler ones, but I would not want it for myself specifically because of that reason?
Yeah.
The Zing Zong Bone.
Yeah, make zombies.
Yeah.
Turn people into
my
zombies.
lord, the implications with that thing is disturbing.
Yeah.
And Panda Bubba used that one, like, a lot.
Yeah, he, like, zombifies Kimiko's dad, I think.
Yeah, he does.
There's the Tangle Web Comb, which, like, could, like, tie people up, but unless you were, like, completely focused, it could backfire.
Yeah, I remember Kimiko used that one rather effectively during one of the Shaolin showdowns that she had against Jack.
Yeah, because that was her, like, her first, like, big character growth episode, was, like, she had to learn not to be such a big hothead.
Mm-hmm. Not even hothead, but, like, kind of, like, not so concerned with, like, being quote-unquote worthy.
Yeah.
And more so, like...
Because she'd get embarrassed when something happened in a fight, and then she'd lose the fight even harder.
Yeah. Like, Kimiko basically had to learn not to take things so seriously.
Okay, who was the best Shaolin warrior, and why was it Clay?
Oh, it was so much! It was absolutely Clay!
It
Are
was
you
definitely
kidding me?
Clay.
The one moment that... I by the way, I got the 1 rupee from inside that dude because the thing knocked me into it.
Nice. Speedrun strat.
Yep.
His, like, first challenge when it's about, like, catching the bird.
Yeah. And I love I love the relationship between him and his dad.
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, I love you, but I just got one thing to say to you. Shut your yap and let me do this my way. And that was the moment that Clay's dad absolutely respected that hell out
learned
of
to
him.
respect him.
Yeah, I like that lesson because it's kind of the whole thing of, like, what Clay's dad wanted was not for Clay to be, like, always obedient. What he wanted from Clay was for Clay to learn to
stand up for himself.
Like, to stand up for himself and understand his own worth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for as like frustrating as Clay's dad was in that episode, the end of it was like, okay, no, I get it. That's pretty good.
Yeah. He also had a sister who was kind of driven away by their dad.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
Oh, yeah, like,
yeah.
Clay's dad was the prime example of, like, a strict, rough and tough parent, which, like, you know, that is one way to parent, don't get me wrong. But, every parenting strategy has its ups and downs, that's for certain. Man, I could, like, talk people's ear off about Shaolin Showdown, because that was such a good show.
Yeah, I could talk about that show all day.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, though, like, thinking of all the ones that I could remember from Shaolin Showdown, if I had to pick one Shingon Wu, it would probably be the Golden Tiger Claws.
Yeah, it's so OP.
Like, it's...
No downsides.
It's so overpowered, and it's basically just, okay, yeah, I have free travel. I'd never be late for work again.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want that?
I could take my friends on trips, like, endlessly. Like, if we want, like, no more worrying about planes, like, and, like, the whole hustle and bustle of the airports and whatnot. If we wanted to go to, like, Brazil, we can just go right to Brazil.
Now, Golden Tiger Claws would be strictly better, but I've thought all the time about... So, like, the changing chopsticks lets you shrink anything.
Yes.
Including yourself. And I haven't thought about this so much for the changing chopsticks, but I thought all the time when, like, trying to find parking, I wish I could be, like, Ant-Man, where there's, like, a shrinking device in his car, and he could just, like, hit the key fob and the car shrinks and he puts it in his pocket.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see why you would like something like that. Just, like, you wouldn't have to worry about parking anymore, and just, like, okay, yeah, no, like, I just have my car in my pocket. Like the capsules from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Listen, guys. Ant-Man Quantumania, the third Ant-Man movie, is pretty lackluster. They messed up a lot of things. But people act like, oh yeah, the Ant-Man movies were always bad. No, you guys are sleeping on Ant-Man 1 and 2.
Oh, Ant-Man 1 was fantastic.
Ant-Man 1 has, like, what do you do with shrinking powers? Make it a heist movie.
Uh-huh.
And then Ant-Man 2 has shrinking and growing car chases. That's so cool.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's so cool.
That entire sequence was great. And if you need any more like convincing from me, I'm just gonna say right now, Ant-Man 1 and 2 are worth it just so you can listen to Luis's sweet, sweet stories.
Yeah, that's another problem with Quantumania. Luis isn't there for
right.
Yeah, no not even a cameo.
Like no like escape style like explanations as to, like, what kind of, like, tip that he got or, like, where someone is. It's like, Luis was a treasure to the Ant-Man movies. I'm sorry.
I don't know if they just, like, couldn't get that actor back or what.
I don't know.
Quantumania, like, I think completely misses what was good about the first two Ant-Man movies.
Hi, mama.
Because, like, Ant-Man's a guy who can shrink and grow. Primarily shrink. Usually when he grows is for, like, the big important battle. Is when he does Giant Man.
Oh,
so what's fun about shrinking is, like, being around normal-sized stuff for perspective and being small around it, like the Thomas the Tank Engine fight. So when you have the whole movie in the quantum realm that's just like a colorful CGI nightmare, the fact that he shrinks doesn't mean anything, because, like, the environment isn't recognizable.
Oh, like, have you ever watched Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Yes.
Some of my favorite, like, moments in that show were because of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Because, like, Ant-Man, like, that show did a really good job of, like, showcasing exactly just how powerful and how intelligent Hank Pym was.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite moments is, like, when they're in the wilderness, right? And I think he's Captain America and, like, no, not Captain America, Iron Man and Thor were trying to get some help from Ant-Man, right? And Hawkeye was with them. Hawkeye didn't exactly respect Ant-Man a lot in that show, but Ant-Man was always, like, proving just how useful he was in the grand scheme of things. One of my favorite moments is when Thor is, like, being, like, kind of, like, checked out by, like, some of the ants around, like, the hole, and Hank is just like, hey, like, hey, don't knock, hey, they can lift actually 1,000 times their size. These creatures? Surely not. Try them. Like,
Scopola down there.
Thank you. Try them. Sarah and Heather could use some exercise. And then Thor, like, starts wrestling with the ants because he's the size of an ant, and he's like, oh my goodness! Hulk would love this! And it's like, that's just such a cute moment! It's like, yeah, no, do not knock shrinking powers. They are way more useful than you would expect.
Yeah.
You ever watch Kim Possible?
Yes.
Do you remember the episode where they met Shigo's family?
Yeah.
And,
there was a Migo.
Yeah, Migo, and what was his face? Ron was kind of, like, questioning what kind of, like, how useful shrinking powers could be. Migo didn't show it at the time, but the villain at the time when he had Migo's powers was showing it. And Migo's just like, see? Shrinking powers are useful.
Because he could just, like, instantly shrink out of the way of any attack.
Yup. And that episode actually did a really good job, like, showing exactly how useful that is.
Because also the way
what did that open?
I was gonna say Lens of Truth, maybe.
Because, like, was there a treasure chest that opened or something? Oh no, it opened the thing.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I know what I gotta do. Hang on a sec. I'm an idiot.
Because the way they describe it in Ant-Man is the Pym particles that Hank Pym invented allow you to, and this is some, like, science gobbledygook, but, you know, suspend your disbelief and let's go with the explanation they give. Allows for you to adjust the distance between atoms, essentially growing or shrinking something. And because Pym particles interact with the quantum realm, if you wanted, you could shrink something down but completely maintain its mass. Or you could, if you want it to be something that you shrink down and pick up, it can store its mass temporarily in the quantum realm. So you could be let's say 150-pound man, Scott Lang, and you jump and you punch at somebody, and while you're doing it, you shrink down. They call this the jump and tap. You are still 150 pounds, and you're now the size of an ant. You're like a bullet hitting them. And the movie can be, like, because it's, like, an action movie, it can be very inconsistent with, like, when he has that much mass and when he doesn't. Which I just kind of hand wave as, like, quantum realm. Like, that time he also, like, lessened his mass.
Yeah, and lest we forget, Civil War, he pulled off Big Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Big Scott, because that was Scott Lang.
Yeah, Big Scott. Oh. Okay, this was a cool puzzle, actually. I will admit, I like the fact that there is another use for these things.
So do you remember the meme leading up to Endgame where people were asking about, oh, well, could Ant-Man just fly up Thanos' butt and grow and explode him?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So there's actually a precedent for that in the comics.
I remember this.
In World War Hulk, another guy, the third Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady, he was the guy who stole the Ant-Man suit.
Mm-hmm.
During World War Hulk, which is the story where Hulk, after being banished to Sakaar and finding love, but having his love get blown up, he comes back to kill all the members of the Illuminati, like Reed Richards and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just, it's like all this world superheroes against Hulk. And there's a part while Hulk is fighting Ghost Rider, I think, crazy enough, where Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady, rides an ant and flies up Hulk's nose and goes into his skull to do exactly that, to like grow big and blow him up. And he gets in there and he does that, and he grows a little bit and just gets stuck because the inside of Hulk is still made of Hulk.
Yup.
So no, you can't just go inside somebody and rapidly expand. It's basically just like hitting your head against the ceiling. If you try to grow and you run out of space, you don't just push through everything, you stop growing.
You're gonna get crushed.
Yeah, you crush yourself.
You get crushed by your own, what was the term? Hoisted by your own petard?
Yeah. So
that's basically what happens there, yeah.
By the time it takes for you to cause the Hulk or Thanos a sinus headache, you will have asphyxiated.
Mm-hmm. Either asphyxiated...
And crush all your own bones.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Those who have sacred feet should let the wind guide them, and they will be led down the hidden path. Ah! Okay. Good hint. Very good hint. Okay, do you... Okay, yeah, there you go. I want to make sure the timing is on this is right. Yep, I got it. I was gonna say, do you mind?
Yeah, that was a good block.
Thank you. There we go. Hi, more Gibdos. Alright guys, so we're coming up short on time, but that was a lot of good progress going through this dungeon. And we didn't even start with this place. Like, we actually, did a couple mini games, but we're going through this place pretty darn quickly.
Guys, if you haven't watched Shaolin Showdown, I'm so sorry that we talked for 20 minutes about Shengang Wu.
Oh my god, dude, okay, for those of you who know of it, or at least have watched it, which Shengang Wu do you want in real life? Go ahead and hit us down in the comments. Right now, I'm pretty sure Link could use that Mantis Flip Coin in order to be able to get through all this, without having to need the hover boots.
Yeah, that would kind of be the Rock's Feather.
It would be the Rock's Feather, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, that is another thing. If not through Golden Tiger Claws, I'd be down for just traveling on foot everywhere with the fancy feet.
Yeah.
Those were awesome. Alright, so thank you guys for joining us for today's episode of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I'm the Green Scorpion.
I'm the ComicFoil.
And, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and let these Gyptos stare us while we just sit here and take a small breather.
And that is a wrap on episode 24.
Why?